All right, getting the stuff ready. So, what are we making today?
We're making powder buns. Something I liked very much as a child growing up. It was like my chocolate chip and milk version.
Oh, okay.
So, powder bun is a cookie-like texture based bread, you would say, mixture of it. It's on the sweeter side, but not too sweet. It's made from flour, brown sugar, the crystal brown sugar, not the fine brown sugar, evaporated milk, vanilla, nutmeg, baking powder, cinnamon, salt, your shortening, or your oil. You could use vegetable oil, and your butter.
So, what kind of oils in there?
This is the shortening. This is Crisco shortening because I like that one because it gives it a strong taste. When like you'll notice the difference when you make something with Crisco versus like olive oil or the vegetable oil or canola oil. It gives it a different taste. And mind you that you could substitute the oils because I have made this with substituted oils with the different types of oils that I've mentioned, the olive oil, the vegetable oil. The vegetable oil is just like a liquid version of Crisco anyway, so, or the canola oil.
And that comes out the best with that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
This Crisco gives it the best flavor.
Nice.
So I have 3/4 cup of the Crisco. I have 6 cups of leveled flour, 2.5 cups of brown crystal sugar, 2 cans of the big evaporated milk, which is the 12 FLOZ, and I have 3 teaspoon. Mind you, this one is teaspoon. It says TSP, not the one that says TBSP, because I've made that mistake before and added way too much vanilla.
Yep.
And then there is 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 6 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a pinch of salt. This is what I consider a pinch of salt.
Okay.
And there's 1/4 cup of butter here. So what I do before I start is I like to warm the Crisco and make it like a bit hot, and then I take my butter and I put it in there to melt it.
So that shortening Crisco is already hot, right? You already warmed it up.
It's already hot.
Okay.
So that will melt it, will melt the butter so that I can easily incorporate it.
Now, when you warm it, what do you how many seconds or minutes do you put in there in the microwave?
I usually put it for like 2 minutes in the microwave.
Okay.
So my flour, I sieve the flour because I want to incorporate air into the flour, which allows it to raise or become soft, have a nice texture to it. So I always sieve my flour. And don't mind my small little spatula. I prefer the small spatula because I feel like I have more control with how much turning and stuff like that I'm doing. So sieving is very easy. I just like to fill the sieve and then I hit on it so that it can come out. And I just do that until like all of it is out.
Yeah, look how even and like refined it looks. You said it gets the air out?
It puts air in.
Oh, it puts air in. Okay.
Yeah, it incorporates air. And then to make sure that your cinnamon, your grounded cinnamon and your grated nutmeg doesn't have any lumps or clumps, you also sieve those. And I use my little spatula to just move it back and forth on the sieve to make sure, you know, those little clumps and lumps are going through the sieve. See? and those, it creates a little lump there. You just rub it against it, and whatever doesn't go through the sieve doesn't go in. And then you add your brown sugar, and your brown sugar doesn't get sieved because it won't fit through the sieve, so you just add that in, your 2.5 cups of brown sugar. And then I like to give it a mix before, to mix everything in, all my non-liquid ingredients. And then,
so you do all the non-liquid ingredients first?
Yeah, and then I add my baking powder in, my 6 teaspoons of baking powder, and mix that up. If you want, when you're sieving your flour, you throw the nutmeg and the cinnamon and the baking powder all in, but I like to mix it up like this. And that's my salt. I just added the salt.
No, looks like you're giving away your secret recipe.
I like powder buns nice and soft, but I like it having a nice soft texture. I don't like it too brown to the top. I don't like it too brown to the bottom. I like it nice and soft. And this is a good breakfast snack to grab when you don't have time to make anything. It also goes as like in between meal snack, or like a little treat for the kids, or stuff like that. And then see, the butter is melted when you swirl it around. I use this for everything. So you turn it around, your butter is melted, and see how it is. After a little while, your butter has melted. So you just continue to stir it around until it completely dissolves. So, see? And I add my vanilla into this mixture. By the way, I like this vanilla because it has a very high smell. It has like a very strong aroma actually. It's thick and it gives you the most flavor when it comes to vanilla for me, because I've tried so many of them and this one I really like. If you want to know what the brand is, I'll write it in the comment.
Yeah, just comment if you want to know, and then we'll let you know, because there ain't no free advertisement around here. You know, unless they want to be a sponsor, you know, we hype them up a little bit.
See, and the butter is all gone. So when I'm adding this, because it's still warm, I add the shortening and butter mixture while I'm adding an evaporated milk, because it will give it all at room temperature. It will make all of it at room temperature. And then I just add in the last evaporated milk. And this is pretty easy to make. It takes less than 20 minutes. And you just mix it all around. You don't do a lot of kneading or stirring or any of that. It takes a little bit. It's almost like a cookie when you're storing it, when you're turning it, texture, but it's still a bit different. So everything will combine and collaborate together, you know, like come together.
Yeah, it's forming.
And I like to use my wooden spoon to pick up everything on the sides, you know, basically to help me clean up. And see how there's some flour to the bottom? It also picks those up. And you just gotta turn it around until you see no more flour. And then that's it for mixing it. See how you see some flour to the bottom? Yeah, you just go in with your wooden spoon and turn it around. It's like literally just turning around.
I can smell the, I can really smell it.
Yeah, you smell the vanilla and the cinnamon. That's mostly what you're gonna be smelling, the vanilla and the cinnamon. And there you go, it's done. So now you just get your pan that you already lined with parchment paper. And that you lined with your parchment paper. And the size that I like is using a 1/4 cup. I scoop some and it goes to like that, like half. But you could do it like that, and that's a very decent size. And you'll get 12 of them on one sheet. This will make like 36.
36 cookies or
36 powder buns.
powder buns.
Yeah, 36 powder buns. If you do them my size. If you do them bigger, you might get less. Well, if you do them bigger, you will get less. Not might, you will. And see, I like to, my little spatula works for everything.
Yeah, it's a perfect size.
Handy tool. And you don't have to worry about the shape of how it looks, because it tastes amazing. And they last for 2 weeks. As long as they're not in somewhere that is constantly being heated and cooled down, like if you have them in an area where it's at a steady temperature, it lasts for 2 weeks.
Before it starts to go bad?
Yeah.
You don't put them in the fridge, right?
No.
What if you put it in the fridge? Will it last longer?
It will. You could even freeze them, like freeze the dough just like this and bake it when you're ready. Now, don't be like me. When you start mixing the ingredient, because it doesn't take that long, remember to preheat your oven to 350. We're gonna preheat it to 350, and you're gonna use the middle rock. If you have a small oven like me, mind you that you can't use, you can use both top and bottom tray. The only thing is the top will take a bit longer to brown, and the bottom here will brown faster on the bottom because this side is getting more heat to the bottom, and the one to the top is getting more heat from the top. And it will also take like 4 minutes longer than normal, because usually it takes 22 minutes to bake. So now that your oven is has finished preheating, it's at 350. Now you're gonna get your, so this is my powder bun. If you notice, my my tray is as big as the oven, well, the width of the oven, so I can only put one tray in at a time because there will be no airflow, which is why it would take longer to bake. And the bottom of the one that would be on this shelf would brown to the bottom faster, and this one would brown to the top faster. For 22 minutes.
You set the timer for how much time?
22 minutes. So you guys might find this a bit weird, but I like to look at my stuff while it's baking, and especially powder bun, because the sugar gives it a crystal shimmer for me, and I like to see that. And then I like to see how it raises up and how it spreads out. I like to see that in action. It looks really, really cool to me. I don't know why. And the shining glitter look that the crystal sugar gives it is so amazing to me. Like, I'm always fascinated with everything that happens during the baking process or the cooking process or just making anything on a whole.
It smells good too, but you can see it turning into the powder bun.
See how when we put it in, they were like circular, and now they're flattened, like they've expanded outwards, and how the top of it looks spiky. I like that texture when it looks spiky, you know? It has its natural look.
Why do they call it a powder bun? Because to me it looks like a cookie.
It's not a cookie, it's a powder bun. I'm not exactly sure why they call it powder bun or where that name came from, but this is something very popular in Belize. It's not something known anywhere else.
So this is like a Belizean dish kind of.
Yeah.
Treat.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got like under 2 minutes left.
Yep.
Now, once the time is done, that's it? Or there's a way you check it to make sure it's done?
No, once the time is done, that's it.
Okay.
Some people like it to brown to the top or more toasted to the bottom, so that's where you would leave it in longer. But I like it where it's just nice and soft, and the bottom is brown, but not too brown, but not too light either. So 22 minutes for me is the perfect time.
Can you make
But mind you, if you want it brown, if you want it more brown to the top or to the bottom, you're only leaving it in for like 2-3 minutes more. Nothing more than that.
Can you make it soft inside but crunchy in the bottom still?
Yeah, you would move it from this top shelf and bring it closer to the heat to the bottom.
For like another, how many more minutes? 2 minutes?
For like 3 minutes, I would say.
Okay. We're almost done. We'll show you the end result.
So I actually added 2 more minutes to it because, see, I like it to have little brown spots like that up there, and then around the edges I like it to be a little brown, so I added 2 more minutes to it.
Okay. Okay.
So I use the cookie rack, and I set my tray on top of it so that it can cool down. I don't move it right away because I don't want it to break apart, for them to break up. So I leave it here for like 5 minutes, then I transfer it over to just the cookie rock itself.
And there you have it. The Belizean powder buns. Yeah. So before, and then they, if you know what you're doing, they should come out kind of like this. Yep. From that to that.
I like it brown just like this. I don't like it any browner because to me it's too hard. And when it's brown to like this, it's nice and soft. It's not dry.
Yeah, it looks soft and crunchy. You know what you're doing, huh?
Let's break it open. See, when you break it open, it's nice and soft, very bouncy. See how it comes back up? It comes back up. That's how I like it. And no matter for how long it stays, as long as you could put these in like Ziploc bags and just keep them on your table or anywhere that's not being constantly changed and having changes in temperature, will be good, and it will stay nice and soft for that up to that 2 weeks. It will still be soft.